Hi everyone! Welcome for a new series of videos. Today I'm starting like a new arc on the channel, which is about the beautiful country of Nepal. So I'm here for a while, maybe a month and a half. I'm gonna work from here, but I'm also gonna travel and hopefully make you discover some great places. And yeah, so without further ado, we're gonna start the series with the first place people go to when they come to Nepal, which is its capital, Kathmandu. So let's go. Okay, to start visiting Kathmandu, there is no better place than Thamel, which is the historical neighborhood of the city. It is also the most touristy part, but this is a very good introduction to you know, the culture here, what the temple and the people look like, and it is also a very good introduction to the Newari culture. So the Newars are the local inhabitants of the Kathmandu Valley. So they are the ones who gave its name to the country, as Newar and Nepal are from the same origin. That's kind of deformation of the same word. And they have their own architecture, own language, own food. So let's get started. Let's go through Thamel. No, thank you. That's very nice of you. Okay, the first thing you notice when you're in Kathmandu, it is the noise. You can hear it here. It's because the traffic is crazy, like in many South Asian cities and countries like India, Pakistan. So you have way too many cars, bikes, etc. kind of like competing for the road, and they are honking a lot. It's their way of telling surrounding vehicles and people that they're coming. And of course, there is no driving code here whatsoever. Like, people kind of do it in a weird way, most likely dangerous way, but it seems to be working, so, you know, if that works, that works.
Walking through the streets of Kathmandu, I was captivated by the stunning Newari architecture. This traditional style, unique to the Kathmandu Valley, is a true marvel and what most people associate with Nepal all over the world. One of the most striking features is the extensive use of small reddish bricks and of wood, especially in the intricate carved doorways, windows, and roof struts. The woodwork is often highly detailed, with religious carvings and intricate geometric patterns. These carvings serve both a decorative and symbolic purpose, reflecting the religious and cultural beliefs of the Newar people. Another unique hallmark of Newari architecture is its windows, called tikijia. They are typically made of intricately carved wood, allowing the light to enter the interiors while maintaining privacy. The lattice work also serves as a ventilation system, keeping the buildings cool in the hot summer months. The architecture often features carvings of gods and goddesses, which are believed to protect the building and its inhabitants. Decorative motifs include elements like lotus flowers, representing purity and enlightenment in Buddhism, as well as mythical creatures, such as Makara, a crocodile-like creature, and Garuda, the bird-like being, which serve as protectors.
That there are a lot of temples, both Hindu and Buddhist. So the majority of Nepal is actually Hindus, 80% of the population, maybe a bit more. But Buddhism, especially in the Kathmandu region, is quite important. The two religions are practiced kind of together. So for the Hindu, the Buddhas are also part of the gods, and the historical Buddha, like Siddhartha Gautama, he is considered to be the avatar, so the incarnation of the god Vishnu, the last one to date after Lord Krishna. And Buddhists, they also adopted the Hindu gods, so they're part of their pantheons too. And as I said, in the Newar cities, so like Kathmandu and the Newar culture, Buddhism is much more important than other parts of Nepal. So you would see much more Buddhist monasteries, Buddhist kind of ceremonies and temples. But let me take you through this temple so you can see what the Nepalese temples look like. They are very pretty, so this is a nice sight when you're discovering the place.
Kathmandu is a city steeped in religion, both Buddhism and Hinduism, with its streets dotted with countless shrines, Buddhist and Hindu temples, and stupas. These sacred sites are not just places of worship, they are integral to the city's identity. One of the most iconic elements you'll notice is the pagoda-style roofs, particularly on the temples. These roofs are multi-tiered and supported by intricate carved wooden struts, each a work of art on its own. But there is more to these roofs than their beauty. They are also ingeniously designed to withstand the heavy monsoon rains, showcasing the blend of aesthetic and practical mastery in Newari architecture. As you explore Kathmandu, you'll see how the city's architecture reflects its deep religious roots, with every corner revealing a piece of its spiritual heritage. As you wander through different neighborhoods, you'll notice that each area feels like a bustling bazaar, with shops often organized by specialty. One street might be lined with stalls selling handicrafted jewelry, while another focuses on fabric, pottery, metalwork, or religious artifacts.
Kathmandu isn't just rich in history, it is rich in street food too. Food is a huge part of the experience here.
Kathmandu's streets are alive with vibrant markets and shops, where you can find everything from aromatic spices to local handicrafts. The air is filled with the scent of spices wafting from street vendors.
Vendors selling amazing street food can be found everywhere, and every corner of the city offers something new to taste, buy, or discover, making it a true sensory journey. At some point, after walking through the bustling streets, the aromas were just too tempting. I got hungry and decided to try something special: traditional Newari food. Newari cuisine is a unique and celebrated subset of Nepalese food. It has been developed over centuries by the Newars of Kathmandu. It is widely recognized as the most elaborate cuisine of Nepal, with over 200 distinct dishes. The restaurant I picked was very nice and built in a traditional Newari house. What was cool about it was that they had an outside area within the restaurant on some kind of rooftop, which I chose to have my lunch. There, I tried several iconic dishes. Samay Baji is a traditional Newari dish that holds significant cultural and ceremonial importance in Newari communities of Nepal. It is a celebratory dish, often served during festivals, religious rituals, family gatherings, and cultural events. The dish is a beautifully arranged platter of various Newari foods, including beaten rice, ground lentil pancake, and a variety of vegetables, proteins, and pickled food. I also tried the local beverage called chiang, a traditional low-alcohol drink made from fermented rice, not too dissimilar to Japanese sake. It was pretty nice and very refreshing. I have to say I enjoyed that one, and I definitely recommend you try it. I finished the meal with the Newari dessert, called Yomari, a sweet dumpling made from rice flour and filled with sweet filling. Mine was filled with sweet thickened milk, cashew and coconut. I wouldn't eat it every day, but I definitely found that food interesting. I really enjoyed this first introduction to Nepalese food that, unlike what I thought, was very distinct from Indian cuisine. I was also glad to have discovered another part of the local Newari culture. After this nice meal, I continued my discovery of Kathmandu, heading towards the beating heart of the city, Kathmandu Durbar Square.
Kathmandu Durbar Square, also known as Hanuman Doka Durbar Square, is one of the most significant historical and cultural sites in Nepal. Located in the heart of Kathmandu, this UNESCO World Heritage Site serves as a living museum of Newari art, architecture, and religious traditions, reflecting the grandeur of the Malla and Shah dynasties that ruled the Kathmandu Valley. The history of Kathmandu Durbar Square dates back to the Lishavi period, approximately between the 3rd and 9th century AD. Though most of the structures seen today were built during the Malla period, from the 12th to the 18th century, the square was the royal palace of the Malla kings, who ruled over Kathmandu and the surrounding valley before the unification of Nepal under Privati Narayan Shah in the mid-18th century. During the Malla period, Kathmandu Durbar Square was not only the center of political power, but also the epicenter of culture and religion in the valley. The kings of this era were great patrons of the arts and architecture, commissioning the construction of magnificent temples, palaces, and courtyards that showcased the exquisite craftsmanship of Newari artisans. After the unification of Nepal, the Shah dynasty continued to use the palace complex as the royal residence until the 19th century, when they moved the capital to a different location. Despite this shift, Kathmandu Durbar Square remained a vital cultural and religious center.
While wandering through Kathmandu Durbar Square, I discovered a treasure trove of ancient temples, each with its own unique architectural style and story. From pagodas to intricate shrines, every corner here had something amazing to show. And while the entire square was packed with history, two temples stood out in particular to me. Thamel, from which Kathmandu gets its name, is one of the oldest and most iconic structures in the square. Originally believed to have been built in the 12th century, Thamel was constructed entirely from the wood of a single tree. It was initially used as a community shelter and a place for travelers to rest. The other place I found very interesting was the Jagannath Temple, which is renowned for its intricate erotic carvings on the wooden struts supporting its roof. Dedicated to the Hindu god Vishnu, the temple was built in the early 16th century. These carvings might raise a few eyebrows, but they reflect the open-mindedness and creative spirit of the time. They are one of the most iconic features of Durbar Square, and the detailed woodwork really reflects the skilled craftsmanship of the Newar artisans. But beyond these two, there were so many more that I had yet to discover. And what I enjoyed was that each of these temples offered a glimpse into a different chapter of Kathmandu's rich history, from the spiritual to the artistic, making it a must-see for anyone fascinated by culture and tradition.
Okay, so here you have three different styles. Nepali style. This is Mughal, like the Mughal Empire in India and Pakistan, Mughal style. And this is more like an Indian style Hindu temple. So different kings over the centuries have built different temples. Most of them were built between the 12th and 17th century.
Besides the temples, there was another key feature of Kathmandu Durbar Square that I discovered while visiting the place. A massive statue of a mythological being holding a sword.
So I don't know if you see here, but there is a statue of a kind of terrifying god. It's called Bhairav. It is a form of Shiva, the god of destruction. And so in Hinduism, it's the god of time and also the god of justice. The Buddhists also have him as a god. And what is interesting is back during the time when Nepal had a kingdom here, like Kathmandu had a kingdom, people were pledging, were swearing oaths here, so that if they breach it, the god will, punish them. Nowadays, it's just a very holy place. People go light some candles and pray, but it's still an important site of Kathmandu Durbar Square.
By the time I was done exploring the square, the sun was setting, painting the city in these beautiful warm tones. I stayed there to enjoy the view, especially as locals were coming to pray, while tourists were leaving the square. As my first day in Kathmandu was coming to a close, I couldn't help but feel like I had only scratched the surface of this incredible city. Exploring Durbar Square had been like stepping back in time, surrounded by temples and monuments that hold centuries of history. But what truly made today special was the deep dive into Newari culture. From the intricate carvings to the rich traditions, you can feel the pride and craftsmanship in every stone, every statue. The Newars have shaped so much of Kathmandu and even Nepal's identity. And today, I got to experience a small piece of that legacy. Thank you very much for following this new series on Nepal. I really hope you enjoyed that video. There are many more to come, both in Kathmandu and in the rest of Nepal. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, as that really helped me to continue providing you with new videos and good quality content. But on this, I wish you a great day, and I see you very soon for more adventures in Nepal. Tschüss!